Hey there, Trastra fans, and welcome to another Friday coffee break. First of all, a reminder that we have a bunch of great stuff going on in our social media. Many chances for you to win, like 50 USDT for subscribing to our social channels, 40 more USDT for posting something about Trastra, anything. I mean, your experience with us, the Trastra debit card photo, anything at all. We've also got 60 USDT to award the most clairvoyant among you, who will be able to predict the Bitcoin price on the 6th of July, on that particular day. This one ends on June 20th, so hurry up. All the deets and rules of these competitions are on our Telegram, so head on down there, join the Trastra community, and see if Lady Luck is with you. We actually plan on increasing substantially the future prize fund. I'm talking about hundreds of USDT, probably beginning in July. We'll let you know, so just make sure to join our Telegram community. We want to make this channel a hub for communicating to you all the rules and regulations for all future ways for you to win with Trastra. So yeah, go join if you haven't already, and if you have, make sure to keep your ear to the ground and stay in touch. All right, so now that it's out of the way, and you're probably already running to our Telegram channel, but I believe anyone who's watching this video is already signed on to that, so I'm not worried. But anyway, I don't know if you're aware of this, but on June 5th, the infamous Bilderberg meeting took place in San Francisco. Took place in Washington, D.C., in one of the most illustrious, most posh hotels there. So I would really do well if I were you researching this thing, because the whole Bilderberg Club concept's been debunked many times all throughout the 2000s and 2010s. I'm sorry to say that I was part of that campaign. I used to work for some publications that were dismissing the Bilderberg Club narrative as as a conspiracy theory and all kinds of crazy rantings from the marginal reporters. But unfortunately, it's not true. It's actually real, and and it's not only real. It's absolutely essential. It's the meeting of the creme de la creme of the tech industry, financial world, the world of media, the top government figures. I mean, the freaking King of Netherlands was there. So it's actually, I would really encourage you to go to their website. It's actually, it's one of the paradoxes about Bilderberg Club. It's probably one of the most secretive clubs on the face of the earth, and yet the information was leaking out to the internet, and people were starting to find out more and more about the Bilderberg Club. So it came to the point that they've actually come up with their own website, and they've been putting the information. So they're basically admitting that they're real, that they're absolutely legitimate, and they're just putting out information like the Bilderberg.org, the website that has all the agenda, all the members of the club, and well, it's not much on the website, but the fact that it exists is something that's really telling. And you do very well researching the actual researching two things: the actual list of participants on this thing. Because it's extremely telling. I mean, you have all your security apparatus from the US and most of the world, of course, NATO. You have your big pharma, you have your financial markets, you have your world of media, you have your the tech industry, and I'm talking about creme de la creme. These are not just CEOs; those are the CEOs of top companies in the world that are, gathering to decide what to do with us. So it's very interesting, especially when you look at the agenda. And the agenda is just freaking, mind-blowing. I mean, the agenda of this thing is mind-blowing this year. Just take a look at the position number one: geopolitical realignments. The geopolitical realignments. You tell me what that means, but something tells me that it's so sinister, something that promises so much change to the worse in the world, that I think we ought to, keep our eye on this thing. NATO challenges. It's all about challenges here. I mean, China, Indo-Pacific realignment, Sino-US tech competition, Russia, of course, a continuity of government and the economy, disruption of the global financial system. So these are the points that are really relevant to us, because these people get together and they realize that financial markets are not the same, and things are progressing. Things are, developing at a pace that is just beyond beyond their ability to trace it and track it. So they have to decide what to do with all that. Disinformation is my favorite one. I wonder if they're going to, discuss how to counter disinformation, how to produce disinformation, or both, probably both, I don't know. Energy security and sustainability, post-pandemic health, fragmentation of democratic societies. This is an interesting one. I mean, these are the people that have actually affected the democratic societies to the point that they're fragmenting, and now they're, gathering to decide what to do with it, how to deal with the consequences. That's just amazing. Trade and deglobalization, and position number 14, Ukraine. So just just watch the press, because even though there's no one to report on this thing, in the world, but there's some journalists there. But if you look at the list of participants, you'll probably see like a couple of journalists and Applebaum, which is a completely different story. She's not a journalist; she's a staff writer for The Atlantic, which should tell you that she's not much of a journalist. But anyway, and as I was sort of musing on the whole Bilderberg Club thing, I wandered onto one of my favorite websites, the dollarcollapse.com, and I've come across this article, this beautiful piece by Mark Jeftovic. I'm not sure. It's sort of related. It's relative to. It's about read the piece. It's not about Bilderberg, but Davos and Bilderberg is pretty much the same crowd. So when you read this thing, it's a pretty lengthy piece with a lot of very informative graphics and links. So I strongly recommend you take your time to read it, maybe take some notes, and definitely explore the links and Google some names and dates, because this thing is extremely revealing. I would say it's an encyclopedia of secretive movements on the financial markets, and what should we expect from the people who are considering themselves, to be in charge of our lives. And he actually dedicates a lot of time and effort to going over some of the specifics of the Bitcoin business and how are things in there. And the Dollar Collapse website is not exactly a pro-Bitcoin crowd, but very smart people write for this publication. So I really, really encourage you to sign up for their newsletter, and check out the material that I give you. Let's go through the crypto Twitter. Yeah, this is the one. Lev Minand. He's to say that this guy's brilliant is to say nothing. I strongly, if you're on Twitter and you follow these things, I strongly recommend that you follow him, because he doesn't post a lot, but when he does, it's really, really useful and very interesting. And in this particular case, I want to refer you to this video that he retweeted. Right, so this one's a conference, a video conference with the Brookings Institute, some of the sages from that organization, and I'm not very. I mean, everything the Brookings, which is a neocon sort of a think tank out of Washington, D.C., so you have to take everything they say and put out with a grain of salt, all the information, but nevertheless, I think this particular webinar is extremely useful. This is all about whether or not the so-called de-dollarization is actually a real thing, whether or not it will happen, whether it's happening or not, and how that's going to affect the society at large and the financials and us. So I like Lev Minand because he basically just in one tweet tells us that things are going to be fine with dollar. I don't know, whatever you want to make of it, but yeah, this is a Lev Minand reaction to the video. The takeaway is that the dollar demise is greatly exaggerated. Infrastructure of the global dollar provides the cheapest way to conduct international trade, payments, and trade finance. I'd say remittances is pretty much somewhere there in between. Huge network effects, definitely. I mean, you're not going to see anything like the dollar's network effect with crypto anytime soon, because crypto remains kind of a niche thing, and people who are in the space do realize its particulars and the benefits that it brings to the table, but not the world at large. Yeah, so just go ahead and check out this webinar. It's about an hour and a half. There's also this very cool video that I've come across. It's got like 180 views as of right now, so it's really a sort of a I'm gonna research this YouTube channel a little later on, but it's really got fewer subscribers than we have, and this video is 108, so it's right now it's right up our alley. It's not a competition, but it's the same people in the same sort of YouTube category. They're just starting out and they're putting out some decent content. I really love this video. I want you to watch it. I want to show it to you in its entirety, because it's only 3 minutes and 40 seconds. You will appreciate it because it's basically a challenge to the entire crypto community, and someone, I'm not sure who that is. I'm going to find out who's the person, who's the voice behind the video reel. But this guy's basically saying, he's telling us the right thing. I mean, you have to look for a reason. Don't hype. Don't get hooked on hype and everything and so on. So let's check it out.
We should all love technology. A middle-class family today lives better than royalty centuries ago. Clean running water, electricity-powered light bulbs and appliances, heating and air conditioning, an abundance of fruits and vegetables in all seasons at your fingertips, medicines, communications, and transportation that would have been mind-blowing in another era. I'm sure you've all heard at least one of Arthur C. Clarke's famous 3 laws, that any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. The ability to create tools that improve our lives is the defining characteristic of human civilization. Technology is often an inflection point in the evolution of our societies, from advancements on the farm to advancements in the lab. Ask yourself not, is this the best we have, but is this the best we can do? And have the vision to know the difference. But not all technology is good. And I don't mean in obvious ways, like how nuclear weapons can destroy cities. I mean in subtle ways, like how waste can destroy wealth. When resources are consumed to build something, we should benefit more from using it than what we spent to develop it. Investments should have a positive return. Technology is good for the economy and makes us wealthier when it increases productivity. A good technology is not one that redistributes and concentrates existing wealth, but one that creates more wealth than previously existed. Ask yourself not, does it make me wealthy, but does it make society wealthy? And have the wisdom to know the difference. Economics is the study of our scarce resources, land, labor, and capital. We should all care when any of the above are wasted. There is an old saying that, in light of all the noise being made by crypto and Web3, is more relevant now than ever. Just because we can do something doesn't mean we should. We shouldn't build bridges to nowhere. We shouldn't build ghost cities. We shouldn't dig ditches and fill them up again. We all accept that investors, companies, individuals never bat 1,000. There will always be hits and misses. We don't abandon progress because of a single miscalculation and shouldn't ostracize people for taking risks. But when something clearly isn't working, we also shouldn't get married to silly ideas. Sometimes we need to course correct. That doesn't invalidate the experiment if we learn something from it, but be
I love it that he's using Juicero as an example. I was there when the whole saga was unraveling, and I really, if you really want to have some fun over this weekend, just Google this whole story with Juicero if you're not familiar with it, how it went down, what was it, and how it ended. This is really reads like a detective novel, and it's really entertaining. So I'm sorry, let's keep going.
Honest about what success looks like and when you didn't achieve it. Don't move the goalposts. Build things to purpose. Solve specific problems. Use the right tools for the job. Compare your solution to its centralized alternatives you aspire to replace, and ask if whatever benefits you describe are worth the cost differences. And
I don't think crypto is aspiring to replace anything. This was the very early message of crypto. It was lauded at a point when crypto was very marginal. It was more or less an anarchistic exercise in some sort of a parallel universes, parallel economies, parallel society. Way back in 2002, 2009, 2010, I remember that. So I don't think there's anything about overthrowing existing economies, existing economic systems anywhere. Any serious people do realize that the dollar, like I told you earlier in this video, that the dollar is here to stay. No one's talking about complete de-dollarization of the world. It's just impossible without a big war, in my strongest opinion. But this, I think, is a mistake that's been made many times before and will be made many times over again, because people think that with crypto, someone who puts up a blockchain is like, the thinking is the hell with crypto, the hell with the dollar, we're going to have our own economic system. People who are smart, they're opening crypto banks, they're opening custodied wallets, and they're interacting with the existing system to augment it and improve it. So this, I think, is a little disingenuous, but still the video is awesome, really. Let's keep going.
Clearly articulate the units you are using to measure those benefits. If your benefits are not measured in dollars, how are they measured? Sometimes a society is willing to sacrifice wealth for political or other reasons. If that's your goal, own it. But don't gaslight the world by pretending these innovations create wealth and have a positive economic return when they don't in aggregate. My challenge to the crypto and Web3 community is to be honest about the costs associated with your projects, the direct costs associated with operating them, energy consumption, financial crimes, gambling addictions, discouraging work, and the indirect opportunity costs of the things we could have built with all those resources deployed elsewhere. Look at both sides of the ledger, not just the benefits, and ask yourself, not does it work, but is it worth it? And have the courage to know the difference.
Great. Yeah. So I think the video is pretty brilliant. There's some very bright thoughts in it. There's some things that I disagree, and I'm sure you will too. Please let us know in the comments what you think. And, in 3.5 minutes, that's a bundle to think about over the weekend. So hopefully you like that. Let's see. Let's keep going. I have a couple more. Let's going back to Trastra, we've put up a little bit of content this week. So I wanted to give you some links, give you some material for the weekend. Of course, the video, the 8-minute clip with Peter Zehan, just racking Bitcoin. I really love it. You do very well to go. If you've seen it already, rewatch it. It's really, I love the way he talks about Bitcoin. I mean, Michael Saylor, when he talks about Bitcoin, it's like he's getting ready to make love to Bitcoin. And Peter Zehan, when he talks about Bitcoin, he's getting ready to dump Bitcoin for someone bigger and better. It's really, really entertaining. So give it a watch if you haven't already.
But you think that Bitcoin is quote unquote. Can you expand on that point of view?
I'm not going to play this thing right now. It's like I said, it's an 8-minute video, but check it out. You will love it. Other than the video, right, so this week we did price prediction on Ethereum. I know it's an ungrateful subject to do price predictions on some major cryptos, but we tried having fun with it, so please you do too. I mean, maybe over the weekend spend a few minutes reading through this and let us know in the comments if you agree with our assumptions or not. Another article we did was the explanation of the Bitcoin fork. It's a very difficult concept to grasp. In my opinion, the difficulty is derived from the sort of two dissociated notions. One is that Bitcoin is a finite resource, supposedly unlike, for example, dollar, any fiat currency for that matter, because Bitcoin, there's only 21 million coins is going to be issued, and it's passed on to the public as an undisputed benefit of Bitcoin. And then next thing you know, we realize that there's a concept of forking Bitcoin, whereas we can create pretty much unlimited supply of Bitcoin derivatives. So not many people, in fact a lot of people, misunderstand this concept, and this is the article that tried explaining it in layman's terms. Hopefully after reading this, the confusion for you will be gone. So let us know if that's something you like reading about. This is it. This looks like it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you had fun. As you can see, I'm sort of playing with different formats, trying to find the most entertaining and most infotaining way of conveying information to you guys. So please let me know in the comments if what I'm doing seems right to you, and that's if you want me to continue doing this, that'd be great. In the meantime, again, remember that if you haven't signed up for our Telegram, please do. This is going to be our hub for information on all the raffles, on the contests, all the chances to win USDT. And there's going to be, I think, about 500 USDT, the prize fund for July. So if you want to lay your hands on that, please do. Please subscribe to Telegram to know what's going on. That's it. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like our content, share it, and let us know in the comments what you think. I'll see you later.